Hey everybody, I'm Elisa. We're back. We're talking about the heart, and this time we're going to talk about how the blood flows through the heart, like where it comes in, where it gets moved around, then eventually how it gets out to the body. So, great. Let's start. Oh my goodness, yes, yeah. There's a lot going on here. How can I say this? Um, I'm going to just give you the fast and dirty, and then we're going to go through it step by step, kind of verbally. Okay. And I really hope that helps. Okay. So, the right side of the blood, think like this is the first stop. This is like where deoxygenated blood comes in. So we're collecting it, and it comes from this top part of the body, like the head and the shoulders. It comes from the bottom part of the body because it's coming in from your feet, legs, knees, all those places. And it's going to come right into the right atrium. Remember, an atrium, like the rooms of a house, is like a receiving place. Like you go and you hang out in the atrium, and then you move into the great hall, and like blah blah blah. Not at my house. Maybe one of these days, but probably not right now. And the other thing, remember the atrium is kind of going to expand with the amount of blood that's coming in from the body. Oh, used up, deoxygenated blood. And it's going to expand its auricle. And at some point, we're going to have enough pressure after the right ventricle has ejected its previous amount of blood. And it's going to the ventricle is going to do this thing where it expands, and as it expands, it does two things. It allows for all the space to become filled up with that deoxygenated blood, and it opens that door, right? The right AV valve, atrioventricular valve. Oh, let me erase all this stuff. That's so much stuff. Okay. All right. The right AV valve. So like blood is deoxygenated blood finally comes in, and then this ventricle right here, the right ventricle, is going to flex, and it's going to squirt jets of blood, deoxygenated blood, into the pulmonary circuit because you gotta go to the lungs to get the oxygen to release the carbon dioxide. Obviously, that too. Not like all of it, but like not a small amount of it. Anyway, so at this point, you're going to be going through the right ventricle and into the pulmonary circuit, and you're going to be doing it via the pulmonary valve. Hey, look at that. They named it for exactly what it is. So that's an easy one to remember. The pulmonary valve is going to go through remember the pulmonary trunk? Remember, it's like a tree, right? There's like branches, right? Branch and then branch. And this is the trunk, right? So remember, we got to go through the pulmonary trunk first before we branch out to what? Each side of the lungs. Anatomically correct lungs I drew for you here. I hope that's enjoyable, right? So after they come back through the lung, they come back into the pulmonary veins. And again, let's just, I just like, is it like a pop, like a note? Hold on, getting more pen stuff. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. Remember, arteries carry blood away, right? Think arteries away, right? And so after they go through the lungs and, the blood becomes oxygenated, it's going to come back in through the veins, which carry blood to the heart, okay? It's oxygen rich, so this time that's why it's going to be red here. So hopefully that's helpful. So the left pulmonary veins are, in this case, are going to jump, well, actually both the right and the left, the posterior of the heart, remember they're connected. Bring them back in to where the left atria, remember the atria is the waiting room, right? So those veins always dump into an atrium. And in this case, the left pulmonary veins are going, and right, are going to dump into the left atrium, and that auricle is going to expand and make as much space as possible until eventually pressure is reached, and we're going to push open the left atrioventricular valve and fill up right here that left ventricle. And the left ventricle is like kind of the last stop in a lot of ways. So the left ventricle is going to contract, and it's actually, and you can't see it here. And let me just see if there's anywhere else that it would be like there's this aortic valve, right? That is going to be right here, and it's going to push the blood up through the aorta. So let me show you kind of what it looks like on this picture. It's seriously like this tiny thing. So here's what I kind of want you to visualize. I'm going to draw over this the best I can. Okay, Let's see. Okay, here's our aorta. This is like vessel, right? And okay, and now I'm gonna get a pen. And okay, so here is, right? I don't know. I think it's like getting eaten by the other one. Yep, it is. And so blood's going to go through and it's going to push open that valve and it's going to pop into the aorta. Hopefully you were able to see that as much as possible. And the aorta, it's going to be distributed in a few different ways. So all of these particular vessels that branch out from the aorta are going to go superior, right? So head, shoulders, all that stuff. And then the aorta dips back down behind, if you remember, dips behind the heart and brings blood, oxygenated fresh blood to all the other systems of the body. So hopefully that's helpful. Right, so 5% of the blood pumped by the heart is pumped to the heart itself through the coronary circulation. So if you remember, let's see, I can't really, it's like they would be really deeply down there, right? So they would be these little, like, this is where they'd start kind of coming off through the heart. And then there's some that reach towards the posterior part of the heart as well, right? So the coronary vessels. And because this workload is just really heavy, okay? So 250 milliliters of blood per minute, and it needs lots and lots of oxygen, right? Because it never sleeps. Okay, so, right. Oh, yes. So again, with the arteries, let's look at, oh, wait, there it goes. Okay. You'll start seeing things like RCAs and LCAs and all that good stuff. So let's kind of talk about what they are. So the right coronary artery comes off right here. You can imagine oh, here it is, coming right off of aorta, right? Coming down, branching off. Let's see, left coronary artery, as you can see, it's like branching off right here off of aorta, and we're coming down anterior here, and there's also another bit that's going to go through the back posterior itself. So when you see a circumflex branch of the coronary artery, it's just talking about one of the specific divisions of the coronary artery. In this case, it's going to be kind of moving down the it's the superior portion of the anterior component of the coronary artery, if that's helpful. And then the coronary artery also is going to start branching off down here. And so it's specifically named also, right, the anterior interventricular branch. And part of the reason that this is really important is because when we talk about people having like heart attacks due to blockages, we're not talking about like aorta got clogged for the most part. Like aorta can be, but like a lot of what we're talking about is like these little arteries become damaged, right? And so that's why it's important to know exactly kind of where those are. So going back over here, the cardiac veins, the right marginal branch of the right coronary artery, CA, as you can see, it's teeny tiny. The veins are going to follow the arteries as they do pretty much everywhere else in the body as well. It pressurizes the space of the outgoing, or the pressurized space, interstitial space of the plasma. Essentially, is getting pushed into the interstitial space is going to be what pushes all the waste and the CO2 back into these veins, right? Also, here's great cardiac vein right here on the side. It's definitely larger. Okay, great cardiac vein coming up here and attaching itself to the coronary sinus. We talked about that a little bit earlier, a large collecting duct for venous blood itself. Then let's see here, marginal branch, left coronary artery coming back here posterior, as well as the marginal vein. The longer group that you'll see kind of running down this part of the posterior view of the heart just has like a longer route essentially to the apex of the heart. Is going to be the, is going to be part of the right coronary artery. It's a branch point as well. So, and it's particularly it's the posterior branch point of the intraventricular branch of the right coronary artery. Pada 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 pa. Sorry. Um, and then it's going to be followed also by the posterior portion of the interventricular vein. So that's the blood flow on the surface of the heart. Yeah, okay, great. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Bye bye.